After all the lashback, Bill O'Brien has decided to sell the franchise to BooLin Sports after the deal of trading DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, a second-round pick. Unfortunately, after that news was announced, none of the current players on the team wanted to play for the organization anymore, saying Bill O'Brien's health is a concern and they don't want to play for a guy that's throwing away the franchise, therefore demanding to get out of their contracts. BooLin Sports is going to have to decide fast if they're going to continue this franchise, if they're going to relocate, and all players aside are allowed to sign with other teams. That means BooLin Sports has to start from scratch and build this team from the ground up. But it's very hard to tell what players will want to sign with a franchise that's starting fresh in 2020, especially with the COVID-19 scare not allowing players to meet with Bill O'Brien and BooLin Sports. What will the franchise do now? So we are back, and BooLin Sports has decided to retain Bill O'Brien as his coach. BooLin Sports figured that he was just overwhelmed and overworked being the general manager and head coach of one organization. Therefore, we take a look at the draft, and we are allowed, as of Roger Goodell, to draft anyone that wants to come. If we draft a player and he says he does not want to play for us, though, we have to release him and let him go into free agency. So right here, I'm just going to scout the lower players because those are probably going to be players that we will want to get on our roster that won't want to leave and try another team. And then we look into free agency, and Roger Goodell says we are allowed to sign any free agent out of the 2020 class that has not yet signed a deal. So players like Lamar Miller, if he wanted to return, he could. But we're just going to look at a few players. Deshaun Watson went to the Colts. Duke Johnson went to the Lions. If we keep on going, we have no notable fullbacks that got signed. Wide receiver Will Fuller went to the Giants, and Kenny Stills to the Chargers. Laramie Tunsil went to the Cardinals. That's great for Kyler Murray's development. I did not check out Zach Fulton there. J.J. Watt went over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. DJ Reader went over to the Cincinnati Bengals, where he actually went in real life in free agency. And, yeah. So basically what this franchise is, we will be able to sign free agents and we'll be able to bring in whoever. But like I said, if they don't want to play for Bill O'Brien or are worried about this franchise in the long run, they don't have to play for us. So we're here in the NFL draft, and we have to operate the same way the Houston Texans do with their original draft picks, and they don't have a first-round pick. Therefore, we have to go all the way to the second round at pick 25. And we're looking at a couple players here, and like I said, we are able to draft anyone. The real question is, do players want to play for us? If they say, hey, we don't want to play for you, then they don't have to do it. And I'm using a C4 draft class, so it's basically everything most closely up to date. Like there's a few players if we go. Denzel Mims has a third round grade, but yet he's still probably going to get taken in the first round, I'd say ahead of KJ Hamler. So where do we want to build this team first? And I think we're going to see if Jalen Hurts wants to come and be our quarterback. So the draft is wrapped up, and this is where we went with our limited picks. Number one, we got Jalen Hurts here, 66
This player's development trait is hidden.
I'm probably going to go in and edit a couple of these players that are questionable. Like, I agree with Hurts right now. Guara, 69 normal, I can work with that. Arnett, yeah, 66. Hidden Dev, that's a great pick. And we'll double down on Ohio State here. Actually, we went after KJ Hull to get a weapon. He's 68 normal, and then we get Julian Blackman out of Utah. He's a 61, so that's a kind of a whiff. And then Scotty Phillips, a halfback. But we just went out and got a couple players here. And basically now we can dip into free agency and
start your week
see
by
who's
installing
available.
your.
So we look into free agency and we look at the quarterbacks here. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he is still part of the Miami Dolphins, so he will not count to be part of this. But so will Jeff Driscoll. But as of right now, I don't think Tyree Jackson is on a team. I'm not sure about Deshaun Kaiser. So these would be two guys that we could look at to add to our quarterback room. But Jeff Driscoll and Ryan Fitzpatrick for sure can't come to this team. So we're going to take a quick look at the team right here that I have assembled. And you saw that we only had 48 out of the 53 guaranteed roster spots. So out of this, I just took players that either haven't really been established on a team in a while or have been in trouble with the law, and basically just people that haven't been on an established, basically haven't been on a team or haven't been signed this upcoming season. So our offensive line is a work in progress. I assigned a bunch of names here. I basically signed Patrick Morris just because he looks like he's probably buried a few bodies. He might have ate a few, for all we know. Darren Fells is a guy that Bill O'Brien really rejuvenated his career, and he was a huge red zone target, so that's why he is back. Clive Walford, I want to say he was a high round pick by the Raiders, and he just couldn't produce on the field. And then we have Jake Fisher, who was an offensive lineman drafted by the Chiefs who moved to tight end. So we're going to see what he can do for us. And we have Alex Collins, who was emerging after going to the Baltimore Ravens for a cheap deal from the Seattle Seahawks, but unfortunately got in trouble with the law and was arrested. So he's here. Charles Sims is a running back that has basically bounced around the league ever since he left Tampa, and he just hasn't been established. I think he's been with the Colts and the Redskins. He's here. Thomas Rawls, he's a Flint native from my area, so I brought him around, especially since he hasn't established himself on an NFL team. Trevor Siemian hasn't been a free agent, and he hasn't really panned out as a quarterback. And then Blaine Gabbert's here just for some veteran presence. And then we have Cameron Meredith, who looked like a breakout star for the Bears, and then he's just battled injury. Braxton Miller was a quarterback that was converted into wide receiver by Bill O'Brien, and he decided he wanted to give Bill O'Brien another chance. Jordan Matthews is a guy who I'm pretty sure was on that Super Bowl team for the Philadelphia Eagles, and then after that has bounced around from team to team, and he just keeps getting caught. KJ Hill was an early draft pick by us. And then we have probably the most interesting player on this team, Martavis Bryant, getting reinstated by Roger Goodell. Hopefully he can stay out of trouble and come back and be better than ever for us. So that covers our offense. And then on defense, we have a few names here. Kikawa. I don't know how to say his name whatsoever, but he's just one of those players that went to the Saints and then hasn't done anything since. And I got this Albright guy just because his crazy hair, I obviously know he's not on a team. O'Connor, he just looks like a very friendly guy, so I took him along. And then Kowser is just a weird, goofy looking dude. And Christian Rector is probably a guy that I'm interested wanted to come to our organization being a rookie, but he was just sitting there along with Khalid Kareem, and I decided to bring them both along for the ride, see if they can make this roster. Morris Claiborne, he hasn't really done anything since leaving the Cowboys, so that's why he's here. Same with Justin Bethel. I'm pretty sure his memorable moments were with the Cardinals. And then I just brought in this guy named Duck, just because of the last name. We got Jamal Showers. I'm pretty sure he was an NFL quarterback that got asked to play defense. And then we have Sua Cravens, a guy who early on sat out for the year. he was a really good player his rookie year, and then I think it was his sophomore year he just decided to sit out. So very interesting move here. Blackman, I'm not sure who he is. I'm gonna have to find another free safety probably. This guy's Daddy Nicholas, brought him in basically on the name. Malcolm Smith, he has bounced around a lot. He was a Super Bowl MVP, and then he just really needs to reestablish his career. Mackenzie Alexander could actually be our free safety. He was a converted free safety to middle linebacker. He had a really good run with the Rams, and then he just fell off after that. Kiko Alonso, you either like him or hate him just because of some of the nasty hits he's done, like the one on Joe Flacco. And then that's really about our team right now. Over on special teams, we brought in the Turk, who had the highest bench press, and then we brought in Roberto Aguayo just because he was a second-round pick, and now he just sits in free agency, so he might go down as one of the biggest kicking busts, especially with how early he was taken. And then I have the ability to bring in 5 players of my own choice, and I haven't really gave it much thought, but there are a few players that I do want to bring in. So let's go over to wide receiver because we do need at least one more. And I think I'm going to bring Kiki Coutier in. I want to see if he wants to pair up with Bill O'Brien for one last time. LJ Fort actually did just get into some trouble with the law, if I can remember correctly, so I'm going to bring him in. So now we're over here in the secondary. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think David Amerson's on a team, so I'm going to bring him in real quick. If he is, he will be a cut. And then that's basically about it. And for these last 2 or 3 spots that we have remaining, I'm debating on bringing in players that aren't currently in this NFL but have been in the NFL before. So let me know what players you want to see, whether it's a Johnny Manziel, an Aldon Smith, an Eddie Lacy. That will be the question for the day, but I thank you all for watching, and hopefully we will have all 4 preseason games and see who our starters will be for the upcoming season.